Hello and welcome to the Roker Report Lasses podcast in association with Sunderland Community Soup Kitchen and HerGameToo, the fight against sexism and misogyny in football. Ahead of this weekend's game against Charlton Athletic at Eppleton Colliery Welfare, which is at 11:30 on Sunday morning, we spoke on our Twitter Spaces this Tuesday to Sam Clarke, who is a member of the Proud Vallients LGBTQ plus supporters group at Charlton Athletic, also a big fan of the Charlton Athletic women's team, and he told us all about their season so far and what we might expect from Charlton on Sunday. So here is our little chat with Sam. Apologies for the sound quality. We were recording through Twitter Spaces, which isn't necessarily the best sound quality available. We've got Sam Clarke, Charlton Athletic fan, regular collaborator with us on our Fan Focus, and I think we'll be doing Fan Focus. Charlotte sent them through some questions ahead of the weekend. We're going to get a little bit of a preview of that now. How are you this evening, Sam?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. How's everyone doing?
I think we're just about reconciled with the results at the weekend. You must be on top of the world, given the 3-0 victory against the former WSL team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's one of those things we had a good start to the season against the Saints team, which we didn't know how they were going to fare. So it seemed like a good start, and then they haven't had the best start, so you weren't so sure. And then I wouldn't even call it a dismal game against London City. It was just an absolutely comical first half hour where we just threw the game away before it even started, really. So it was nice to get that win and see not only that we had done what we needed to do from last season and added a bit more of a clinical edge to our play, because we played a lot of good football last season, just didn't always finish the chances or really add that edge in the final third. But we really managed to combine, the clinical edge that we'd had from the first two games where we had scored a lot of goals, and then a really solid defensive display against a strong team as well, where Birmingham never really threatened us, bar a couple of odd chances, whether it's a set piece or something just trickling through on the counter. So, yeah, I'm really, really excited that performance came through, and it kind of gave a bit of a confidence boost, because the start of the season we weren't sure, but it definitely does give a huge confidence boost, that result on Sunday, and the performance more than the result as well.
Are Charlton currently full-time professional, the whole squad?
Yes, so from last season onwards, the whole squad went professional, and that has remained the case. Unless something's gone on behind the scenes that I'm not hearing about. But as far as I know at this stage, yeah, everyone is fully professional throughout the whole squad, as well as a number of the staff and stuff like that.
And how's that working out? As the transition over the last 2 years, is that kind of now all smoothed out? Because we know from other teams that it isn't always the easiest thing to get used to, really, for both the players and the staff and overall at the club.
Yeah, it seems like it's really kind of smoothed out. I think last year was a lot of growing pains in terms of, just how it works around the ground, because you're not used to, around the training ground, you're not used to them being there all the time. So they kind of end up getting their kind of own facilities and own section of the training ground built, which has been a huge help, because it at least means that, they've got their own space, and they've got a place where they're not going to be, running into not having arguments with the academy over what pitches to use or whatever that might end up being. So it made it a lot easier. So yeah, I think it's gone really smoothly now. Obviously, there was a whole load of kerfuffle, which I'm not going to get into in terms of the naming stuff, but that seems to have been dead and buried now and not getting brought back up. So hopefully this season we can kind of crack on and really prove ourselves to be competing at the top. At least that's the hope that I'll be having. Is you can't. I don't think anyone in this league can realistically expect their team to go up, because there's only one promotion place. But I'd like to see that gap that we saw between us and the top teams last season filled a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So who should we be looking out for then this weekend? Who's been the kind of standout players in? I mean, obviously we're only 3 games into the season, but who do you say, if you were scouting Charlton, who would you say are your danger players?
I think you've got to look down the flanks. Our flanks are where we're really dangerous. So you've got Angela Addison, who just came in from Spurs in the summer, who's just been she's one of those players. She really reminds me of what Katie Robinson did for us last season when she came in, and it was a kind of just that bit more directness, a little bit more like rather than just like knocking it about. As soon as she gets the ball, she wants to go forward with it, which was a thing that we lost a little bit last season because everyone's like, we had a lot of good players in possession, but no one who really wanted to attack. And Angela Addison has added that so much and just a little bit extra quality as well. Like the ball just seems to really stick to her feet. And there've been multiple times where it's taken two or sometimes three defenders to even stop her, and sometimes that's only stopped by a foul. So I think she's huge, and our fullbacks as well have been really hard to handle for a lot of teams in Beth Rowe and Sophie O'Rourke, who's obviously brought in from Lewis in the summer as well. So I think that down the flanks is definitely where you're going to be worried. And also Ella Rutherford had her best game in a Charlton shirt on Sunday as well, playing in a slightly different role to what we're used to her. We're used to seeing her more out wide or going up front. She almost played in a like kind of deeper midfield role, but like more like an 8. And she really ran the game on Sunday. And she's a player who's always had that ability, but hasn't quite hit her full potential in the last couple of seasons. And maybe this is a season that she really proves the player she can be.
Yeah, she stood out in the highlights that I just watched before I came on to speak to this. Another player who stood out, and I think stood out last season when I saw her player as well, was Alicia Endow at the back, who looks like physically she's much taller than many of the other players, and looks like she's got an awful lot of potential.
Yeah, in Alicia Endow, she came in from Villa on loan, and that was the one place where I was really concerned for us. The early recruitment, a lot of it was going forward, and I know that's because Karen was really keen to get that kind of clinical edge in the team. But we were looking a bit shaky defensively, and still I'm not sure, especially if Hannah Godfrey's injury, depending on how long that's going to leave her out for, we could still be very light at the back. But Alicia Endow, as soon as she came in, she came on at half time against London City, and just that it changed the game. Like everyone felt so much more calm for her being on the pitch. And I think it's a huge thing having her at the back there. Ideally, her and Hannah Godfrey did build up quite a nice partnership in that second half, and then until Hannah Godfrey's injury against Birmingham, Hannah's probably not. We haven't heard exactly how long she's going to be out for, but I very much doubt she'll be back for this weekend. So now it's going to be Kira Skills, who again is a really good centre half as well, and I think Alicia Endow will bring out the best in her as well.
I don't know how much of Sunderland you've seen this season. You've seen any of the highlights or anything, but just from your knowledge of us, who would you be telling the Charlton Athletic team to watch out from our squad?
I think the thing I worry about with your squad more than anything at the moment is just how much you kind of need this win. Rather than individuals, I think it's going to be tough for us because I'd assume you're going to come flying out the gates at home. It's a home game against a team that you would probably be thinking before the season started that you'd be wanting to beat. So, and with Crystal Palace in the next fixture, and then you've got London City after that, I think you're going to be looking at this and going, this is the game we need to get that win before it gets to the point where it gets a little bit silly and you haven't won in however many games. So that's more what my worry is than any individual players. It's just the fact that they're going to really feel like they need this win. And I think as long as we hold solid defensively, I fancy us to score a goal. It's just whether we see that kind of London City first half hour from the pressure that you put us under. That's where my concern is. If we get through the first half hour and haven't conceded, I'll be a lot more confident. But that first half hour is going to tell us an awful lot.
I think what you're saying there tallies with a lot of what we've said in terms of we need to be on the front foot and to set up in an attacking way in order to get anything out of this game. And you've just reeled off our fixtures coming up. We have been dealt a very tough start to the season. I don't think we play another part-time team until probably mid-November. So it's been a challenge, and I think both teams will be going for it. And maybe there'll be one or two Charlton fans making the journey. Do you know of anyone who's going to be up in the northeast, or maybe uni students or exiled fans up there who might be coming down?
Yeah, I know there's a weirdly strong Charlton community in Newcastle for whatever reason. There is a contingent shield with quite a few Charlton fans based up there, so they could very well make it across for the game. I would normally jump at any chance to get up to that kind of part of the country and enjoy a kind of weekend up there. Just not been able to work out for me this weekend, but yeah, I think there'll definitely be a couple of Charlton fans there because we do have a bit of a community up in the northeast.
It was really great to hear from Sam there and get his perspective on our opposition at the weekend. He also spoke to regulars Ant and Graham about their perspectives on Sunderland and how we perhaps have more attacking flair in this upcoming game on Sunday. And I asked Ant if he agreed that it was really in the attack where we really needed to improve.
Oh yeah, I would agree. I mean, again, that goal could have quite easily been disallowed as well. I mean, I didn't think it was a foul. You know what I mean? But you would have understood if the referee had it disallowed it. So, I mean, the thing is what we've got. Obviously, the Durham game, I thought we did create quite a lot of chances. You know, we had a couple of chances just after that where Tyler went through and had to hit a shot that was well saved. And then in the second half, although Durham came at us quite a lot, you know, we broke away and Katie Watson, you know, rounded the goalkeeper and, you know, maybe in another kind of situation that she would have gone down and took the hit, you know what I mean, which she tried to stay on she tried to stay on her feet and everything. So the Birmingham game, I'm throwing that away, you know. I just think the whole kind of atmosphere at the stadium, you know, it all felt a bit flat, and I think that did affect the players. Yesterday, we've gone to, you know, not concede, haven't we, and try to get, you know, one knee towards the end, which is absolutely fine. I think what we kind of have forgotten as well, though, and, you know, it does go without saying, like, you know, it is a squad game, but we have been missing, you know, our captain. I know Kira was back yesterday, but she only managed 60-odd minutes. And obviously, Neve, who has been out injured, you know, she's come back. I think once she comes back in, and once we get, like, you know, this kind of whatever formation is we're going to play, I think we've got our best players back and our captains back, you know, and I think that'll probably bring a little bit more out of us, you know. Personally, I prefer this 4-3-3, you know, in that we've got Emily Scar as our centre forward or Nikki Gears, you know, depends who's who. I would be very, very tempted to say we've got to play Tyler Dodds as a right-sided winger. You know, I don't think she's anything else but. You know, we've got players who can play on the left, you know, even if that is Kira. We've got Joyce who can do that. Jetta, you know, who, again, come on yesterday and by all means did very well. So I prefer us to be an attacking team, you know, and I know that these formations are there, you know, to try and keep it tight at the back, which I think, to be honest, it has done by the last 10 minutes against Birmingham. But I would just like to see us, you know, just take it to the opposition a little bit more, and just go without fear, I think, a little bit.
Graham, what are your hopes and expectations really for the weekend? Because seeing Charlton do a job on Birmingham, I watched the highlights earlier, they look really, really good. Obviously, the benefit from the London bonus, I guess, in terms of player recruitment. But do you think, you know, we should be changing tack and maybe going to that 4-3-2 or 4-2-3-1 formation that I love so much? Do you think we'll be more attacking at the weekend?
Looking at the league table, obviously they're sitting third at the moment, so it's obviously going to be another tough test for us, isn't it? They've scored 8 goals, and they've conceded 4, so, you know, it looks as though we can probably get at them. It's obviously a long travel for them. I was just, in terms of the formation, obviously you were asking there, I do think we need to play Tyler Dodds on the right. I think Ant had mentioned that before. Like I say, I mean, Mel season and training, so I mean, I've seen a lot of Tyler Dodds over the last couple of years, and if you play her on the right, you'll get more out of her. We've got a player in our best position for me. Obviously, I've seen her in the tier below this, which is a big jump up between the two leagues, but she's very dangerous on the right. The thing it does as well is when she plays on the left, is she just cuts in all the time. So you're just going into a congested area. But yeah, I would definitely play on the right, and I would actually bring Neve in off the front player as well. because Emma Kelly can do a really good job just sitting where Neve sometimes sits, and we just need some more legs up there. That's going to get in and around Emily Scar. So it might be a bit controversial in terms of that for Neve, but she's dangerous. She's got a good strike on her. We need to get people up and around her with legs she can get back. So I would probably go something similar. It's difficult when you're looking at like formations in possession and out of possession, but if we did see a sort of like 4-4-1-1 more, but obviously Neve could sort of easy sit back into midfield if she's in behind Emily Scar. I mean, hopefully we'll see the best of Nikki Gears in the future, but if I'm being totally honest, I don't think she's done enough for a starting spot, if I want to be totally upfront. I think it's going to have to be Emily Scar up front by herself, but we need to get more people in around her, so I'll be looking at obviously Neve in behind, and obviously looking at Kira getting up as well. So that's what I'd go for. I'd probably like a 4-5-1 or a 4-4-1-1. But I've spoken to a few people about Neve, and you know, one of her best positions is further forward. We'll always keep playing her at the back or just defensive midfield. She's wasted there.
So that's an excerpt from our discussion on Twitter Spaces on Tuesday. We will be providing you with pre-match articles on the Roker Report website, and we'll have our regular Twitter Spaces probably on Monday night. Fans will also be able to watch the game on Sunday on the SAFC Women Twitter feed, and that'll be broadcast live on there, which is fantastic. If you can't get down to Eppleton at 11:30 on Sunday morning, you can watch it on Twitter, but I would encourage everyone to get down there. It's only £5 for adults to get into the ground, so please do get to Eppleton, support the lasses if you can, and it should be a really, really good game of football. Finally, just want a quick shout out to Roker Report overall, because we've been nominated for the Football Content Awards for Best Club Content Creator. And you can find a link to how you can vote for us in that competition that's ongoing at the minute. The vote's open until the 9th of October, and we'd really appreciate anyone who enjoys our articles, enjoys our podcasts, if you can spend 2 minutes of your time just voting for us, and hopefully we'll be bringing home some silverware this season. So thanks to everyone for listening, and we'll speak to you all later. Bye bye.